Captain Matt here with another episode of Captain's Quarters First Class, a lighting podcast from the Lighting Trade School. Today, I want to talk about design. We'll do just a little bit about having some calls with some people and some of the things that they want to pitch, they hold off and they do not actually pitch that in the design. So it got me to saying myself, wow, I really need to talk about this a little bit more. When I design a landscape lighting project or any lighting project, I have to do it only from the designer's point of view. I cannot allow that technician's point of view, that technician's mind, if I'm going to be the guy to install it, to alter my design. And what I mean by that is it can be super easy to, when you're looking at a house, and if you know you're going to be the one doing the install or helping with the install, and you know you want to light up there on that 2.5 story peak, but you're like, I don't want to set up the ladder. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. Or I don't know if I want to cross that sidewalk. It's going to be hard. It can be super easy to then just omit that whole fixture or that group of fixtures because you're thinking from the technician's point of view rather than a designer's point of view. So when I'm designing a project, I totally forget everything from a technician's point of view so that no matter what I'm thinking, that way I don't hold myself back. If I want to light up in that peak, I'm going to put a light up in that peak. If I want lights in an island around a driveway, I'm going to put lights in the island around the driveway. I'm going to do lights in trees, lights that if I want them there as the designer, I'm going to place them there on my proposal. Whether I actually show the exact location of them or not is beyond the point. And then when we sell that job, or if we sell that job, then I can look at it from the technician's point of view and figure it out. Because one thing that I've told clients, that I've told students and mentees is we can put a light anywhere. You just have to get a wire to it. That's it. It's just one wire to the lights and we're good to go. It's not some crazy thing. We're not using line voltage. We don't need to be 16 inches underground. We don't need to be in conduit. We don't need all this stuff. All we need to do is get one wire there. And I know that was the right thought process. We can always figure that out. Same thing with like driveway crossings and all this, right? So people say, well, what if I do close it? Then I go back and look how I would install it. So I should rewind a little bit. So when I get there, when I'm doing a daytime walkthrough, right, that daytime walkthrough, when I'm taking pictures and all that, I am doing that from the viewpoint of designer and a technician. Because there's all too often where I would do it from just a design standpoint. And then I wouldn't know, hey, I think we'll be able to just grind out this expansion joint and get it in there. Or, those front stairs look like there's a little gap that we'll just be able to slide the wire in, push it down, be nice and clean and out of the way. Well, if I didn't have those pictures, I wouldn't know until we got there. And then you could really, screw yourself over in terms of estimating the time that your guy should be there and all that. So when I'm walking around in the daytime, I'm taking from all the times that I've done installs, from all the designs I've done that I've sold, that we've then had to figure out how to do installs, and even hearing the questions from my guys, or knowing that when I sell it, I'm looking for that picture that I can't find. Or one of my guys asked me, how would you run the wire to this location? And I said, you don't have a picture that allows me to help you with that. Whatever. And then one of our guys, he did a demo, wants lights next to the doorway, and there's no daytime photos of what that area actually looks like. So it's impossible for me to guide him or tell him what I would do if I can't see what's there, right? So during that daytime walkthrough, I am taking a bazillion photos, all sorts of different photos of all the different things that I know could come into play. I don't know if they're going to come into play, right? I don't know if we're going to cross sidewalk. I don't know if we're going to go behind stairs. I don't know if I need to check to see how much room is behind the bush to the house or this tree to the house. How much room? Where's the overhangs? All that stuff of the trees into the house. What's going to be lit? What's going to be in the way if I have to run up wire? Is there a spot that I can go up a gutter? Am I going to have to run track? All of those pictures are being taken before I start designing. So once I know I have all those pictures and I do some videos walking around, once I have those, then I can just let my mind completely forget about install and just go deep, deep into design and only think about design. And I really encourage you, that's what you have to do, because your designs are going to be better when you're not all mentally discombobulated trying to think about design or the install factor of it. Uh, so many guys, they get so stuck in, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And it almost comes across rude, but I tell them, sell the job and then we'll figure it out. Just sell the job. So much time is wasted. I used to waste time. New guys definitely waste time trying to figure out where their wire runs are going to be, trying to figure out how they're going to hide the wire on a job that they haven't even given the client a proposal for yet. You waste so much time. It doesn't matter. You are literally wasting time. So sell the job and then we can figure it out. Sell the job and then you can figure it out. You can figure it out. It's not going to be hard, because once you sell a job and the client's paying you to do it, it's miraculous what can come out of your mind and your brain and just knowing how to do it. And it's also different that even if you're stuck, right? You sell a job and you're a little stuck on how you're going to do it. It feels different when you're figuring it out, knowing you're getting paid for it. So often, you go do 10 demos, especially when you're first starting out, 10 demos, 20 demos, and you're trying to pitch them. And a lot of friends and family, they're not really qualified, but you're just getting in the reps of demoing. You're getting in the reps of making a proposal. You're getting in the reps of pitching a proposal. So much time is wasted on figuring out wire runs and how you're going to hide wire and what you're going to need to do here. And what tool do I need? What saw blade do I need? And it just gets so overwhelming and takes all the fun away of doing demos and takes all the fun away of lighting. Like, trust me, you can figure it out. Once you sell a job, you can figure it out. I talk often. My first job I sold, I had never stripped a wire. It was over 100 fixtures. I never mounted a power supply. I never connected lights to a power supply. All I knew was design. So I couldn't even hold myself back on what was, our first install. First installs are always difficult because of your first, but we did everything at that install because I didn't know better, if you will, right? That installer mindset didn't creep in at all. Core drilling, lights under bars, lights under fireplaces, all of this stuff, lights on the fence line, lights in the grass, lights in planters and potters, and all of this stuff that if I had if I had known, if that had been my second job, I might not have pitched what I pitched. If I had run into a few hiccups along the way on an install, I would have been more reserved to propose that we core drill. I would have been more reserved to propose that we're going to put Atlas lights underneath their bar ledge outside, so that when they're sitting there, it goes in between each seat. I would have been a little bit more hesitant to put lights around this fireplace and store wood on one side and whatever on the other side. All right. Because those were difficult to install, I would have held back. The funny thing is, I would have done that maybe after the first 1, 2, 3, 4 installs. After you do enough installs, you realize that it wasn't as difficult as you thought it was, because you have the reps now. You know it, your crew knows it. There's still some difficulties, right, in terms of getting under sidewalks or cutting through things. But I can promise you this: when you're getting paid to figure it out, you figure it out differently. So stop wasting time figuring out how you're going to run wires, figuring out how you're going to hide wires, figuring out how you're going to get under sidewalks and over to islands in the driveway. Just design and sell the job. Have all the pictures so that when you sell the job, we can review it. We can go over it. You can go over it with your team to then know how you're going to do everything. But you're going to save so much time, money, and energy by not trying to figure out every damn wire run or how you're going to do this trick shit until after you sell the job. Design it as a designer. Install it as a technician, right? You have to break that up. And many of you guys listening to this are one-man shows, maybe two-man shows, but you have to be able to switch out of those roles. I know as the owner, you're the everything. You're the CEO, you're the CFO, you're HR, you're the office manager, you're the technician, you're the repair crew, you're the designer, you're the mechanic, you're the everything. But you have to be able to mentally switch off certain roles when you're doing certain things. And when you're designing a landscape lighting job, you have to forget everything besides what you want the final illumination portrait to look like, not the wire runs, not how you're going to hide wires. Wires can be hidden. Wires can be ran. Trust me, there's always a way. And when there's not, well, I don't think I've really ever come across a time where I couldn't get wires where I needed to get them, ever. Now, some of my guys will say, oh my God, what did you pitch? I love to hear that, because I know when my guys say, we got to put a light there, or how the hell are we going to do that? That means I designed something that nobody else in my area is going to design. Now, I have, I guess, one other lighting company now, national franchise, that came in here. Not worried about them, but then you got these side hustlers, the HVAC side hustlers, you got power washing side hustlers, you got janitorial service side hustlers. Not worried about them. Landscape side hustlers, hardscape side hustlers. I already know I'm going to design outside of what all of them do, but when my guys say, how the hell are we going to do that? That's a proud moment for me. I like to hear that. That means I'm pushing the envelope. That means I'm pushing my crew to be better and to know more, right? So biggest thing when you're demoing, when you're designing, put the lights where you want the lights for the final portrait. Stop trying to figure out wire runs. Stop trying to figure all that out when you're doing a proposal. Now, if you're doing a proposal that you're like, well, I didn't know it was going to take a day or 2 days or whatever, pad yourself a few extra hours in there. Just do it. Save yourself the time, money, and energy. And you do not need to figure out. You'll enjoy lighting so much more if you're not trying to figure out every lighting run or every wire run, every wire hiding that you're going to do, because you are not going to close everybody. Like, in fact, especially when you're first starting out, the vast majority of people you talk to, you're not going to close, right? If you're doing a demo, one could make the argument that you should have a much higher 90% close rate. But you're walking through in the daytime, trying to get a ballpark for them. You don't need to be exact. So stop trying to be. You're not going to hurt yourself by selling a job and figuring it out. Because if you don't know how to do it, you're going to get paid to learn how to do that portion. If you've never crossed into a driveway island by cutting from where the road and the driveway meets, and it's always holding you back, and you don't know how to price it, you don't know how long it's going to take you, sell the job, get paid to learn, make a note of it, and now you know. Oh, wow, that was super easy. Or, oh, wow, that added an extra hour to my day having to do that. Then you will know, but you would have been paid to learn it. And again, once you're being paid for something, your mind opens up with the possibilities. So get out there, demo what you want, where you want the lights, and stop thinking about the install. And I know I keep saying that because it's arguments I have with not just my guys, but with people in general. Well, how are you going to pitch that? How are you going to do that? Well, geez, what if they say yes? Well, we want them to say yes. That's the whole point, right? We want to give them an illumination portrait that they deserve, right? That's why I know I can walk onto any property and give a design that no one else is, because I'm not going to be thinking from a technician's point of view. So if that's one of the skill sets that you can learn, is to turn off everything besides the designer's mind while you're doing the design, while you're putting that proposal together to show to the client, you're gonna have better designs, you're gonna close more work, and your clients are gonna have better projects. You're gonna help them more as well. So get out there, be the designer, turn off the technician until it's time to turn the technician on. That's all I got for you today. Save the photos. Obviously, I use Company Cam. I used Google Drive before I used Company Cam. Get there, take all the photos you need to take, so that when you are laying the job out after, how you're going to do it, but not until you close that job. All right, guys, this has been an episode of Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast from the Lighting Trade School. Hope you all have a great day. Go make some damn money.